Welcome back to Blizzard Abroad. How do we go from being the manosphere to being the woman's sphere? What do I mean by that? What I mean is that everything in the manosphere now, it all stems back to the actions of what women are doing. It's all centered around women. How to get women, the problems with Western women, um, holding women accountable, debating, excuse me, debating women, shaming women, um, going abroad for women, you know, and it's sad because, on one hand you hear women are the problem, and on the other hand you hear women are the solution, you know. So I just want to talk about that, like the state of the manosphere right now. Something that's been, if you watch my videos, you see me pushing back against some of these notions, man, you know, because that's not what the manosphere was when it was created. I was going back, I was emailing back and forth with a viewer, and, it started off pretty contentious, but it ended up with, us at least understanding where each other were coming from. But, and I'm talking about over like 5 days of emailing, but it was respectful. It was a respectful conversation. But there's one line that stood out for me. And he said, because I had said, you know what? I place myself firmly in the manosphere. And he said, no, the manosphere isn't about self-improvement. The manosphere is about dating advice. And I'm like, that's totally not true. The manosphere is not a new thing. The manosphere has been around since the 70s, 60s, 70s. If you look back into it, I mentioned that before in a video, because it started with the men's rights movement. It wasn't what I would consider what the modern manosphere is, but a lot of people have this idea that the manosphere was just created with like Kevin Samuels or something, which was not that long ago. But that's maybe how you got introduced to it. But just because you're just now hearing about it doesn't mean that's when it came into existence, right? So the manosphere was created as a space for men where we can bring our issues and have a community where we can support each other, where we could get help, seek advice, give advice for, the unique issues that we face in society. Because for the longest time, nobody listened to what men were saying. So to look at what the manosphere is nowadays, it is disappointing, because now we have the voice, right? Some guys with big platforms, they're reaching millions of people. But what are they saying? I understand the frustration with dating dynamics in America. I totally understand it. Even if I don't deal with every aspect of it, I understand. I'm able to see what's actually happening and what's not happening, you know. But when we put the onus on just the woman, like it does not make sense, because it alleviates us of any fault. You know what I mean? And men hate when I talk about this. I've gotten some very mean emails, and I'm telling you right now, the next email I get with a threat in it, I'm gonna post it. and I'm gonna post your email address and everything, because that's uncalled for. You know, I don't make that content that's that out there to be receiving threats in my email. You know, not that I'm worried, but it's just uncalled for. You know, I can have a conversation without going to that point. You know, it's unnecessary. But men hate when I talk like this. And I've got, like, I get pushback saying, you know, well, women never get held accountable. You know, we got to hold these women accountable. And I keep saying over and over again, that's not my job. It's not my job to hold anybody outside of my household accountable for anything. You know, unless I'm like intervening in a disturbance in the street. But even then, I just want it to break up. I don't want to admonish or punish. You know, that's not my job. You know, the only person on this planet that I'm 100% responsible to hold accountable is myself, not some random person that I don't know and that doesn't know me. You know, it sounds good if you want clicks and views. What you do is you go to the internet and you search out videos of people doing the most despicable and disgusting things, right? You search it out and then you put it on the internet and you comment on it, you know, and then you act like every woman in society is acting that way. And then the other side does it for men. And then you have the gender war, you know. But you're just searching out that stuff. You're not really, those guys are not experiencing that in real life. Maybe they have, but that's the worst kind of content, I believe. It's more like propaganda. It's more like, you know, the mainstream media, what they do to us every day. When you turn on that mainstream news and you see the worst things, all you see is crime, violence. What's the difference in some of these social media pages? Because that's all they're showing you, the worst things, and then they're telling you that this is the only thing out there for you. If you don't do like me, then this is the only thing out there. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. I know too many good people to be that way, to push that message. And no matter what I've been through, the pain, I've been through pain, hurt, no matter what I've been through, it doesn't mean that that is the only thing that's in store for you. Or that I wouldn't go right back out there and try it again, because I would. The narrative that's being pushed, it's not about helping men anymore. It's about blaming women. You got some very huge YouTube channels, man. And don't get me wrong, man. There's nothing wrong with monetizing your channel, with, you know, earning money from the work you put in, the time you put in. There's nothing wrong with it. But when that is the driving factor, you know, then people need to be, you know, wary that that is the driving factor behind the content that you're making. Right? I don't want to be in those communities. I don't want my channel to be about that. I push a positive message. Yeah, it has an edge to it. It has an edge to it because, you know, I know that I'm not perfect. So I don't look for the worst in anybody else, because I'm not perfect. I don't expect anybody else to be perfect. Everybody has their flaws, right? But, you know, I've dipped my foot into the drama. I have, you know, and I made a video about drama. You know, I was defending, you know, somebody that I look up to from being called a racial slur. That's the only reason I made that video. And I had people telling me like, man, all right, that video did good. You should come back with it. but that's not what I want, man. I could have came back because there was a response to my video. I could have kept that going. But what's the end game in that? Who am I helping by doing that? And the subscribers or the followers that I gained from that are going to expect more of that. So I would end up pigeonholing myself. No, I'd rather slowly grow my channel over time with the right kind of people. I even said that to somebody. I said, all right, I'll go right back to my 100, 200 views and I'll be fine with that. And we'll grow over time, but we'll grow in positivity, not blaming anybody else, because it's kind of ironic that now what we see from most guys in the manosphere is sign language. The key term, sign language. It's supposed to be used, something that, women use against men. Shame, insult, guilt need to be right. But what do we see these guys doing now? Shaming women, insulting women, guilting women. And especially on these debate shows, these panels, they need to be right. They're talking over. It's like how are you a man if you don't take accountability for your actions? How are you blaming all your problems on a woman? Like, you're a man. You cannot be masculine and then sit up here and act like, your fate is at the whim of anybody else. You can't do it. Those two realities do not exist together. You can't claim to be an alpha male, which I agree with. I disagree with the notion of alpha male anyway, but you can't be an alpha male, right? But then claim that somebody else has so much power over you to control the negative things that are happening in your life, or to be the end game goal. Like guys traveling 8,000 miles and the only deciding factor is if they're going to meet a woman or not. But they're running from a woman. So the woman's the problem and the woman's the solution. Whatever happened to the manosphere being about self-improvement, right? Because I don't center any of the major decisions in my life on if I'm going to be with a woman or if I'm going to get attention from a woman or a woman's approval. I act in my best interest. And I think more men need to start, not saying that I'm a guru or I know everything, but I think more men need to start acting like that, right? Because the more you improve yourself, the better you get, the more confidence, self-confidence you have, the more you improve yourself, the more attractive you become to women. So take the focus off of them. Put the focus back on ourselves. The manosphere may not be the right place for me. I don't know. And I'm not saying I'm leaving or I'm not going to make videos anymore. But I can't make those videos. I won't do it. My content has to revolve around self-accountability. Because that's the most important thing in our lives. You can't evolve. You can't grow if you can't look yourself in the mirror. If you can't improve your flaws. I was watching a stream tonight about a guy in a supposedly unhappy marriage. And like I said, nothing against that guy. But it started out with him like complaining, oh, my wife doesn't do this, my wife doesn't do that. Puts his wife on And then you see the chat. You got some guys saying, "Hey, yeah, get on the plane, get out now." But then you honestly had a lot of guys saying, "Bro, you can fix that, man. It's not broken. Stop for a second, man. Don't abandon what can be fixed for the unknown." You know what I'm saying? Like it's easy to see flaws in other people, but we got to start looking in the mirror. Like, and I was kind of like, I was happy the way that stream went. It was a really good stream because you had adults in the chat. You had grown men in the chat. You had some people that, you know, typical behavior online, "Oh, get out of there. She doesn't do this. She get out of there." But then you had the adults, saying, "Hey, bro, don't throw your marriage away, man, because of what you see on the internet looks better. Don't do it. It's not that far gone." Then you had guys in there, like I said, "Hey, well, what is your wife missing?" You know what I mean? And it's things like that. That's what the manosphere is about, man. Hey, bro, stop, think, man. Way to slow down. Don't do that. Think about it. Think about it this way. By the end of that stream, man, we seen the guy self-reflecting, saying, "You know what? Well, maybe she does want to spend time with me." She mentions that a lot. "I'm never home. I'm always at work. She's with the kids. She's all, she has to do everything. She goes to all the soccer games by herself. She goes to the practice by herself. Maybe I need to do that more so I can have some of those memories with my family." That's what the manosphere is. But you had other guys in there saying, "Throw it, get out of there now. Book the plane tickets, get out of there." And throw your family away when we can clearly see that it can be fixed, bro. The time and energy that you're sitting there focusing on something else, turn that back inside. At least try. It's not, some responsibilities you cannot get away from. "Oh, I work hard. I provide this house. I do that." That's the burden of manhood. You can't get away from that. That's your duty, especially as a husband. You cannot get away from that. So the manosphere, I believe, is off track. Like I said, I'm trying to find my place in it. I'm not gonna stop talking the way I talk, sharing the message that I share. No matter what's going on behind the scenes, I'm going to speak a positive message. And the thing that people don't understand is they don't understand why people are so positive. Why? Like, don't you see what's going on around you? Yes, I've been through it. I've been through so much negativity in my life. I don't need anymore. I don't need to wallow in it. You know, some of us that are the most positive have been through the most negative things. That's why. That's why we're positive. And I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for myself. I don't need to wallow in negativity because you are your thoughts. You are your thoughts. You become your thoughts. So if you sit around, and I was just talking to somebody about this, if you sit in negativity, and that's all your thoughts are, and that's what you become. Get out of that box. That's a hard box. It's an easy box to get into, but it's hard to get out, especially on social media because it's readily available. You know, But there are people with positive messages out there. There are support systems out there. You just have to find them. They're not just going to fall in your lap. You know, that's all I wanted to say, man. Like, we need, in the manosphere, need to take the focus off of the women. Is that a part of it? Yes. That's part of the manosphere. But it's not all of it. It's also about self-improvement. It's also about mental health issues, right? It's also about financial stability and financial advice. It's also about, physical health and well-being. It's about a lot of things. The manosphere is broad. We cannot reduce it to just being about women and what they're doing wrong and, demonizing Western women and then raising every other woman up. Like, because, you know, my opinion, the nature of a woman is all the same. It's just different. People were just raised different ways. You got nature and nurture, and I believe they all starts the same. And then, you can be raised to be different, but deep down inside, the chemistry is the same. At the end of the day, we have to decide what we put out. We get to decide what we put out, and pretty soon, there will be no manosphere because the good parts are going to go away. The good people are going to go away. I've seen it happen. I was upset when, Pumpkin Joe in the Philippines, he stopped uploading, just a regular family life living in the Philippines. That's what we need to see. Not some sensationalized BS, That was a real channel, man. That was a real channel, man, that had really good content. And it's just not worth it. The negativity, the bashing, and people just want to see drama, man. They just want to see drama, sex, violence, money. That's it. So it becomes a community where people are just looking for clicks and views. And once you pigeonhole yourself into that audience, that's all they want. That's all they're looking for. So that's what you get. And that's why I pulled out of that content real quick. I don't want to be known for that. Now, don't get me wrong. I know how to squabble. I know how to squabble when I have to. And I'm not scared to speak my mind. But it's a conscious decision to do it or not. Like I said, I get emails that are nasty for no reason. But they put it in the comment section if you like. And I guess that's it's double-edged sword that it just comes with it. But like I said, I'm gonna post it. Fuck it. Like, you sent it to me. It's not private, So, but I really want to know. I really want some feedback on this, man. I don't know where I belong in the manosphere. I know that I'm not gonna stop making the content that I'm making, but you do sometimes want to know where you fit in. So I'm curious, man. Is the manosphere turning into the women's sphere? Because everything's about women now. It's the only thing that gets traction. You got to talk about women. You got to put them down, praise them, or talk about sex, or anything in between is going to get no traction. Because that's what we're searching out. So let me know what you think. I would love your opinion on this. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, Blizzard Abroad.